GLOGO was about organizing global complexity in our planet. And I realized that there's billions of things happening in the world. I created this concept called organized complexity, which is like a paradox. How can you possibly organize complexity? And I organized it in 8 global areas. The first area is international law and humanitarian affairs, global health, global science and technology, global culture, global resources, global economic and social policy, global peace and security, very relevant today, global environment. So I organized global complexity in these 8 global areas. I created this tool called GLOGO that I mentioned. And the most important fact is that every area affects the areas that are in the same model. What happens in peace and security affects resources. What happens in resources affects the population. What happens in the environment affects the areas. So the world is an interconnected system. Of course, under each global area, there's thousands and thousands of sub-areas. We are monitoring those areas with the tool. We're following what's going on in each of these areas. This GLOGO takes me to meet very important people to discuss the future of these areas, from presidents of nations to great people about protecting the environment, like Al Gore, or people that think about the future of cities, or even our friend that's now passed, Neil Armstrong, the first man on the moon, to talk about the future of space travel. We created the GLOGO platform to put all this information in. It's a great tool that we use in our projects. It's an amazing resource. GLOGO tells us realities like this salamander that is being studied because it can recreate every organ in its body. If it loses an eye, it can create a new eye. If it loses its spinal cord, it can recreate the spinal cord. It's a miracle of the future of science. Or companies like Universal Hydrogen, for a decade, they've been studying how to bring hydrogen to flight. They're doing it in 2025. All this information is coming to us from GLOGO. And GLOGO gives you what I call the mega picture, because people talk about the big picture. That's no longer enough. You gotta think mega 10x to be able to succeed. So our planetary problems can only be solved if we think 10x. Wars, climate, hunger, poverty, health. We cannot solve these problems on a short-term thinking path. We got to think 10x, 10, 20 years in the future to solve them. I presented GLOGO at the United Nations, and the Secretary General of UNESCO said, I want to support this because for the first time I can understand how the world works. And he gave us his support. So, do we have a future? Yes, if we think 10x solutions, not if we keep thinking small 10%. And also, we need to start thinking of ourselves as a planetary civilization, not just citizens of a nation. We got to go beyond that thought of nation states. So, to save our planet, we have to start megavisioning the future. My book is out next year. If you want to pre-register to receive information about it on desantis.vision/book. Everything and more that I'm explaining today will be in that book. And my last message to you today is you have one life. So let today be the time where you start thinking anew with this 10x concept, thinking in decades, making complexity your friend. And I want you to think, dream, live, and love 10x, because you only have one life. So, thank you very much, and I hope you're ready to start your 10x Megavision journey.
Fantastic. Turkish for you. Çok teşekkürler, Nicolas.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nicolas De Santis.